Let's see.
Hello. Your browser failed to play the video clip. Okay. I don't
All
know
right,
what that
guys.
is.
Hello. This is Word of Action Podcast, and today we're talking about aliens,
Oh,
aliens and demons.
aliens and demons, yes.
hmm
If
So,
there's anybody that'd like to go ahead and leave a comment or three
yep.
on
So
any of
whoever
the
out there
subject.
want to join in and leave a comment, and now's a good time to do so. So, what's your outtakes on aliens, Mark?
Uh, yeah, they exist. They there's a lot of stuff out there that apparently, from what I understand from checking out a lot of different shows and things that I've looked up about it, there's a lot of stuff that we are learning from them that isn't getting incorporated into our own technology by the use of reverse engineering different things from machines to different types of metals and things. They say there's a lot out there that is coming from that, and they say that the evidence is looking at just the history of industrialization. So like when you look at it from like the standpoint of like maybe 100 200 years ago, all of a sudden we jump from horse and buggy to flying through the air to the other side of the planet. That's kind of quick
Yep.
when you think about things, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
And a lot of these things started taking off after I would say after World War II. I mean, there were some things before that, but it was a whole lot started taking off after that point in time. And it seemed there were a lot of crashes and of UFO sightings. And there's even a rumor. I don't know if you guys heard this story about how I believe it was Eisenhower, one of the presidents, had a meeting with aliens. Did anybody ever hear about that?
Never heard of that.
That happened in 1952. I think it was 52, 54. I'm not sure, but where they apparently the president was supposed to be in one place and he kind of ditched everybody and disappeared for a while. And rumor has it that he went to a hangar where other people had seen him, as well as there were some people that took him to a hangar to meet with aliens, and that some sort of agreement was made. That was back in the 50s.
Would that be in? Would that be Area 51?
Actually, no. Actually, it wasn't. In fact, I don't think Area 51 was created back then at that time. I'm not positive, but I don't think so. Good question, though. Good question. But yeah. So there was that rumor going around, and I guess from like the Roswell crash, everybody's heard of Roswell.
Yeah.
The Roswell crash. One of the things that we got that they had was not bendable metal, metal that would resume its shape. Well, we have that now in certain products where we have metal that can resume its shape.
Okay, but all that stuff was made from things on the Earth.
True.
What proof did they give us something? I need some proof that tells me that it came from another planet. How is it
The knowledge how to make it is what came from the other planet.
How's their technology made from things from this Earth?
Well, it's not so much the technology of where the parts came from that made things happen as it is the technology used to take what you have on this earth and get it to do what you want it to do. So even though they might have used different materials or different types of metal to get it to do what they want it to do and make it bendable, pliable, and reform its shape, and they might have done it from another planet if they were from another planet, we could the technology to know how to take materials that you have and do that wouldn't matter what planet the material is coming from. Does that make any sense? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. Okay,
So, but proof. Obviously, everybody and their brother is looking for proof.
so
We all want absolute, beyond shadow of a doubt proof.
so what technology we have that you can prove that was given to us by a life force from another planet?
Well, I can't. No one can actually prove, but you can look at the whole series of how fast mankind has improved on its technology and realize that a lot of that happened after there were a whole lot of UFO occurrences and alleged crashes. It's sort of like if you look at the progression of history of mankind going from like the back when Jesus walked the earth up till now, you would see that everything's going along nice and fine and dandy, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're just suddenly shot forward with all this new technology and all these new things, and simultaneously with that, there's more appearances of UFOs, more encounters of UFOs, more crashes of UFOs, more things that involve UFOs, alien abductions. There's more reports of all of that. Now, obviously, there's no absolute proof, but that is evidence that something is going on, that we suddenly have more technology now quicker than we've ever had in human history. So that had to happen somehow.
Okay, so at this point, it seemed like Bruce saying he can't hear us,
Uh-oh.
and then there's something popping on here. Somebody asking a question.
Yeah,
Somebody named Mark something. Do you
Mark
know him?
something.
He asking a question about um the Bible Genesis.
Mark Paul.
Mark Paul. Know who that is?
Nope, but okay, what let's see, let me see if I can I'm trying, I don't have my glasses on. I'm looking at some things on the phone because it's not, oh, no, Bruce can't hear. I'm
Bruce
looking at
is
some things on the phone. For some reason, his question is not showing up on my side of the chat. Let me
okay.
go to chat with other guests, see what that has.
Okay, you know, can you hear us, Bruce?
Yeah.
All right, somebody name popped up asking a question. Somebody named Mark Paul.
What about knowledge from Genesis?
Knowledge from Genesis.
And the knowledge was not from the earth, it was from the Lord.
Okay, so
So that's a statement and a question.
so basically they saying that the earth God is not from, so will he be considered alien?
I didn't quite interpret it the question that way. It's an interesting question, but let me answer all three questions as best I can. Well, knowledge is from Genesis, okay, and knowledge was not from. Oh, I really need my glasses. I don't know where the heck I put them. The knowledge was not
Could you
from
see?
the earth; it was from God. Well, all things are from God, but after it's from God, there's a lot of hands that go through, whether it be human or alien or what have you. That's my personal belief. Uh, as far as Genesis, um, he's actually asking a question. What about knowledge from Genesis? Well, I'm more than willing to admit when I don't know something, and I'm more than willing to admit I have not read the book of Genesis that well. Corey, you might have more knowledge about the book of Genesis than I do, but he's saying, what about the knowledge from the book of Genesis helping to accelerate our
Can he clarify that
technology?
question? Can he clarify that question more? well, I should say more more precise. I mean, is there any way clear it up? What you really trying to say in Genesis
Okay,
in
Well,
particular? In
Genesis is a big book. I mean,
yeah.
what part is he talking about? In the
well,
beginning,
he's
God
talking
created
about the
the heaven and the
knowledge.
earth.
Well, we were talking about knowledge, and now he's asking the question, because I was saying the knowledge to be able to do all those things,
Well, I
to
know
advance our
that.
technology. He said,
I
what
know.
about knowledge from Genesis to advance our technology? I guess.
Okay, well, I mean, in Genesis, there wasn't really no major technology going on back then, besides God creating the heaven and the earth
Okay.
and creating man and creating animals and creating the sea and the land and the universe. So, I mean, like God created the universe and everything. So, is God the God of the aliens too? Or why did he give them more technology than us? It's a lot of
Well,
questions out
I,
there.
I'll give you my theory. I might be the only one on the planet that has this theory. So hold your laughter to the end, please. Thank you very much. Um, Now, give me a minute to explain some of this. There have been a lot of archaeological things that they found that they haven't figured out what it is exactly as far as making sense. And when I'm referring to are like um, stories that were written in stone thousands of years ago. They found stories, the Noah Ark story. They found that story written in stone in several different cultures, but they're all way older than Noah's Ark. And what they're trying to say is that, oh, it was just a fairy tale after all. But I don't really believe that. I believe that this is my take on everything. I think that God is testing mankind and putting us through all that we know and understand here. But I think that at the same time, God at one point he made us in his image. But I think that we're like the last. We're made in God's image. But I think he made other creatures not in his image and put them through the same rigmaroles that we're going through. And then their end came. And for us, it's going to be damnation and destruction. But for them, it was being exiled to far parts of the galaxy. And I think that those creatures, since way millions and billions of years ago, have evolved. God hasn't destroyed them, he just exiled them. And then at some point created us. Now, who knows how many times God has taken creatures, created them, and said, let's see if you obey. Because that's in the end what's what God wants us to do. God wants us to obey and follow his ways. Period. End of story. But this time God said, oh, I'm going to make this one in my image. It's going to be more like me than all the rest. And
Well,
so I think
actually,
that these aliens are coming
well,
by, checking on things,
I
sort
mean,
of.
you got that a little bit right, but actually said, let us make man in our image. So he
Okay.
wasn't just talking about himself. So was he talking about the other angels that was among him?
Don't know. I didn't know that part. So I have to speculate and think about that. What was God referred to when God said that? And another thing I'd also like to figure out is, and this might sound silly to you, but if that's what God said, who was there to write it down? I've always wondered that. Who was it that wrote all the Bible? And then I heard that the Bible is written by different people throughout different parts of history on tablets. But something like Genesis, which is the beginning, the book. Oh, hold on. Mark Paul's making
Jose.
a statement. When the Satan made man eat off the tree of good and evil knowledge was introduced, then for man could be like God. Try to exist without him. We can't exist without him.
Okay, so he's saying, yeah, well, that's another fact that knowledge started after Eve ate the apple and Adam joined her in eating the apple.
Right.
Then they became to have their own knowledge. But along with that knowledge, they also had shame. That's why they end up covering their private areas because they felt shameful.
Mark Paul asks another question: are your aliens demons? Well, that brings up another point.
That's a good question.
Some people, nice question, Mark Paul. Some people think that aliens are actually demons, and demons are actually aliens, and vice versa. That they're all just one and the same, whatever they may be. Now, there is a place that's out in the Midwest where people are having multiple encounters of all of the above in a singular location. It's the Walker Ranch, where there have been reports of UFOs and demons and ghosts and all sorts of the paranormal, all like within a household. So it does kind of, say, hey, could that be a possibility? Well, I got to be honest with you. I can't say that it isn't for certain. You can only speculate on certain things and take the information that you get from all the different sources. But I always try to look at things instead of trying to go ahead and say no
Well,
to everything. Kind of say yes to everything because it's there to exist. It exists.
now they
Now
saying
try to
fallen
figure out
angel.
why.
Well,
What's that?
okay, now he's
Oh,
saying
fallen
something about
angel.
fallen angel. Okay, so
True.
my theory on this is that I'm gonna take it from the fallen angel point of view. If that happened back then, there was writing on stone back then where people was seeing things come from the sky. Did they call it aliens at that time? No. Did they think it came from another world? Yes, they did. I don't know exactly what date the alien name came in,
Right.
or unidentified object, or something from another world. But there was writings in stones of the native people that seen things come from the sky, and they
Yep.
carved it in stone.
They carved it in stone. They did hieroglyphs in caves. They've seen
Now,
all sorts of things. They even have in some of them. I think there's only like one because it's so rare to find where they have hieroglyphs of animals, and some of which they think are prehistoric, as well as things coming from the air. Like something that resembles aliens or UFOs, or what we normally call like our modern day aliens or UFOs. The thing of it is that they viewed everything as being heavenly. So it either when they saw stuff and experienced stuff, it either came from heaven or hell, good or evil. There
okay,
was no other worlds in their universe.
I mean, a person can think that it's an alien, and it could be a demon,
True. But
and
it's the same way they could think it's a god.
it could be a demon, and they can look at it as being an alien. So,
Right.
that's possible. The fallen angels could have been misidentified as
But
something from another world.
You
True.
gotta remember, because they take on different form and shape, so there could be we will identify
Well,
or UFOs as alien. I mean,
yeah.
they could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
fallen
I
angels
mean,
and all that.
yeah, they can appear to us the way that we accept. So if we accept them being aliens, that's the way they're gonna appear.
Right.
It's the same thing as with a demon or a angel. An angel can appear to you something that you used to seeing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not gonna angel's not gonna appear to you in their exact form, because you'll be afraid, and they're not trying to scare you if they're trying to get a message to you. Now, some people believe that aliens are actually people from another Earth that's got more technology in us, sort of like people might say alternate universe thing.
Alternate universe.
Yeah, do you think that's possible?
Another dimension. Well, yeah, I think that there are alternate universes. Whether or not they can come here or we can go there, that's very vague because there's all different ways in which you can have alternate universes and alternate dimensions. Some people have even theorized that the shadow people that people tend to see are from an alternate universe. Some people tend to theorize that they're evil because bad things tend to happen around shadow people or when shadow people are around or just after they've been seen. So it's kind of hard to theorize another dimension, another universe, and how they would get here. But when you look at the whole scope of everything, there more than likely is other universes out there. I mean, other dimensions out there, more than likely. But how to interact and how to go about reaching them, or how to even know when you've encountered someone or anything from an alternate universe, that's a whole other thing. But as far as the aliens go, the word alien is more of a modern term. I mean, before the 1800s, that wasn't around. The first UFO I think that ever crashed was like back in the 1800s down in Texas. And when it crashed, the funny thing was, the thing crashed. They found the bodies, and some of them were still alive. They sent for a priest. The priest came. I think it was the 1800s, and they were trying to go ahead and save them. And then when they all died, they buried them like normal, dismantled all the parts of the UFO or whatever it was, because it was already broken in pieces, and just used the metal parts from it until years later, when the government was in a different state. So they went ahead and found a way to get to everything. Right now, the grave is there, but they're not even sure if it's the right one. But they're not even sure if it's got anything in it, because they've set it up so that you can't go near it, and set it up so that you can get arrested if you try and go near it or dig it up or whatever. Now, that's something new that I've only recently heard about. I'm trying to remember what year it was that this happened, but it was in the 1800s, late 1800s.
All right. Well, I've seen something on a YouTube channel where they was trying to say that Jesus is an alien, and they also took it back as far as saying when Moses went up to the mountain and there was a burning bush, they said that that burning bush was actually a spaceship, and that
Yeah,
and that
I've read that.
Moses went up there to get instructions from the aliens and brought them back down to us so that we can live a certain way, the way the aliens want us to be and the way aliens want us to live. That the aliens created this whole thing about God
And the aliens actually created humans
and
through interbreed. That's just, I've heard all
and
sorts of
that
crazy new stuff.
and I heard also they said that when Jesus come back, he's coming back in his spaceship, and by us being lifted in the air, as the rapture say, they say that we're gonna all be beamed up and took into another planet. So it's a lot of people out there with a lot of misconceptions about it.
Right.
So
I mean, we may not know everything, but we know enough to be able to rule out certain things, like most of the stuff that you just said. That's not, we know that's not true. I mean, we know who Jesus
yeah,
was, and
that's
you know,
right. That's right. But there's people out there that don't have knowledge like us. They'll believe that, and
yeah.
that's a trick of the devil right there, is to deceive you. And I believe with this whole alien thing is a trick from the devil to try to deceive people from what's really going on. What
I suppose I
how
suppose that's a possibility. I can't deny possibilities.
I mean
Like I said, you got to look for a little bit
that's
of
the
something leaning towards that way.
that's the best way to defeat your enemy is to deceive them. Get them thinking to believe over here while you over here doing something else.
Yeah, distraction, like a magician.
Exactly. So
Yeah, an illusionist, which is an appropriate word for a
so
demon.
and I believe the devil can also have demons pretending to be aliens to help distract people from the real deal. Huh?
Oh, he's saying that the reason that people don't have the knowledge that we have is because they don't read the Bible. Well, Mark Paul, I agree, yet at the same time disagree with what you're saying. I agree because, yeah, people haven't read the Bible, but there are people that don't have access to the Bible. You have to realize that there are some parts of this world, even within the United States, that, access to a Bible might be a privileged thing. And so, and in some places, if you don't believe in a particular type of religion, you can get persecuted, if not executed. So,
Well,
in a way, you are
no,
right. Those who do have access to it and don't read.
even if they don't have access to a Bible, the word of God will be preached throughout the whole world before Jesus even come back.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
But it doesn't
so
mean that it's reached that level yet
okay,
that everybody's heard the
that's what I'm
word.
saying. But my point is, that's why it also say that man will not have no excuse. You're not going to have no excuse when that time comes,
Right.
because everybody, living, dead, will know about Jesus Christ.
Correct.
So they can't say, oh, I didn't know about this. I, I, I,
I didn't
I
get the memo.
you know, nobody emailed me.
That's
So
right.
in the meantime, people need to kind of get it together. And if they have access to a Bible, pick it up and read it. Pick yours
Yeah.
up and read it, Mr. Mark.
Oh, I've read mine from time to time. Well, actually,
Okay.
I've read one. I don't have a particular one, but I've read a Bible before from time to
And
time.
reading the Bible too, people have to read it with a spiritual mind, because if you read it with a carnal mind, you can make it sound any way you want it. And a
Right.
preacher can take words out of there and make you believe it when it's not true, but then they tell you it's in the Bible. Okay, and those type of people are ones that start false religions.
Yeah.
They are false prophets.
Taking words out of context.
They could take this and make it sound like that. So you got to be careful about that too.
Oh yeah.
Best thing I know is to read it for yourself with a spiritual mind.
Most definitely helpful.
See, I read the Bible, and I'm not too good in like saying knowing what verse came from what book and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But when I read it, I took it to heart.
Oh
See,
yeah.
and once it's in my heart, it's there. I might not remember where it came from, but I know it was in there. But if I try to store things in my mind, tomorrow is gone. So
I
that's a
just wish it
lost
were like in
cause.
chronological order so I could understand it a little bit better. But it's so and things happen in different timelines and different eras
Yeah,
and
yeah,
different years. So it's that throws you for a loop.
you
Trying
got to
to
know about the different time. Like exactly when was the angels cast out of heaven? Was it in the 1950s? Was it before Christ? That's a question.
yes. Some people say, "Oh, they were cast out," and that's what it was the Big Bang, or no, not the Big Bang, the meteorite that hit the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs.
So yeah, they
I mean,
said that.
I
Then I heard that. Then I heard the angels fell where the Grand Canyon is. That's why it's a big hole. And I mean, it's a lot of
I even heard that the
talk out
angels
there.
fell that in what was it in Russia where they had that weird explosion that happened and leveled all the trees
No,
back in like the
I might believe
1800s.
that in Russia. Yeah, that's a lot of it's a lot of evil things going on there.
It was back in the day though, and it was like way back in the day. The Tusca. No, I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember that. It's a
So
hard word to pronounce. But they
so
showed pictures of it. The whole forest is like, but they don't know what happened.
so, Mr. Mark Paul, do you have any insight on that?
He might
In the meantime,
takes a minute to type. Oh,
Bruce.
Bruce is
In the
about to be
meantime,
back.
Bruce popping in and out. Hey, you had 3 coffee breaks already, sir.
We're gonna have to dock your pay, young man.
I think my internet's going crazy with my headphones. Something going on with it. I can't hear you.
All right, Bruce. We're gonna make a trip to Best Buy.
Oh,
Oh, we
time for
fixed
you.
Corey up. We gotta fix you up now, man.
Oh, now we got to take you to Best Buy.
And whatever
Oh,
you gotta get.
and by the way, when we was talking about to go, oh, what did he say?
What do you mean by before Christ?
No, the question was exactly what time zone was it when the fallen angels actually fell to the earth, as it said. Okay, that was in Genesis, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure when that was, to be honest with you. But yeah,
Well,
he's referred to. We're referred to. When did the angels fall from grace? What? When did that happen? Was that before Jesus walked the earth? Was that after Jesus walked the earth? Was it at the dawn of mankind or the end of
Well,
uh,
it, it had to,
dinosaurs? Or what?
it had to be a time where people was already here because it said some other fallen angels had sex with people on Earth,
and the dollar man did.
and and
Okay, so
they
that's true.
and they had children from that. So
Yeah.
Very true. So it had to
That's how
be
you got the
after that.
giant.
But
Yeah.
when did Satan fall? Was that before all the other angels, or was that
they
after?
hey, he fell first, and they followed him because they obeyed God, and the archangel Michael beat Satan up and then kicked him, then cast him out. And all
So,
the three-thirds of the angels in heaven follow him, and those angels became demons. Now,
so
devil was on the earth along with his demons, but when Jesus came and bind and locked him up in hell. Those 3 days that Jesus died on the cross, he was in hell.
yes, that was before Jesus came as a baby. Okay,
Okay.
so before the birth of Jesus, but after the after mankind, obviously.
Yeah. So at that time, you should know he was already in hell. He was locked in hell. Those 3 days, Jesus was in hell and locked him up. But it also say that he's going to be loose again towards the end of time.
I got a question that I've always wondered: where is the Garden of Eden?
Farmington, New York. No.
I said Eden, not evil. But where is the Garden of Eden, and who is Eden, and why does he have a garden? Real people want to know.
Okay, that's Eden is not a person name; it's a place.
Right.
And
But
once
it's always referred to as Garden of. So what
okay,
is, what is it, Garden of?
okay, think you have this big old planet and it's one perfect garden. When Adam and Eve disobeyed God, I believe at some point they was cast out that,
Right.
and I believe God took the garden, hid it from man. But John Paul, Mark Paul, you might know about that.
But you gotta remember the angel was guarding the Garden of Eden, so man will not be trying to go back into that place.
Okay,
So,
but at what
but,
point did they
but what I'm
stop?
saying
What point
is
did
that,
they stop doing that?
but what I'm saying is, are we sure that the Garden of Eden existed on this planet? We're positive of that. It wasn't like somewhere else, some other worldly place,
So
a part of heaven, maybe.
so
I mean,
actually saying the Garden of Eden was like another planet, and when
I'm saying it
Adam
could be anywhere.
and Adam and Eve got cast out of it, they like went somewhere on a whole nother planet.
No, I'm saying
I
that
don't think so.
is it possible that the Garden of Eden could be something that's closer to, like, say, heaven, and they got cast out to earth when they got
Here
kicked
you
out of it?
go. Here you go, guys.
It does not exist on earth anymore, Mark Paul says. Some believe it was destroyed in the flood.
That's possible.
That's possible.
The flood did cover the earth.
I wonder what part of the earth it was located at.
Well, get your scuba guy diving gear on and go down there and look for it.
Hey, it could be buried under a bunch of sand next to Lot's wife. Right next to this little pillar of salt right here.
Well, that's still above ground now.
Oh, really?
I seen an article on YouTube where they actually showed the exact position she was when she got turned to salt.
Really? I haven't seen that. They actually, how
Just
would
go,
they know that?
yeah, just YouTube it. How would they know it? Because they found out where Sodom and Gomorrah was,
They know where
and
Sodom and Gomorrah are.
yeah, they one day they took videos of it, and it's all flattened down now. But they said the city was located here,
Right.
and the path that Lot and his wife took was here. They showed that, and they showed it could have. I mean, they showed like something looked like made of stone that almost shaped like some person, and they said that must be Lot's wife still standing there, a pillar of salt. But
Well, I would
you
figure
think
that
about
there'd
it,
be salt remains all over in a particular area, very heavy. Not necessarily a pillar still after what, over 2,000 years. You
yeah. I
know?
mean, that's the people that's out there looking for things like that. Like they said, they found piece of Noah Ark,
Okay.
and they got the piece that they found, and they have it in the studio. Most what he say, likely in the
Likely in
Middle
the Middle
East.
East is
Yeah,
where it
most likely
probably
it's in the
is.
Middle East where it was.
Yeah, that's where it all started.
Yeah.
The Middle East, basically everything in the Middle East.
If everything's in the Middle East, makes you wonder what was back here. What was here in this part of the world at that time and before?
Um, at one point, all the land was joined together.
Yeah.
Right.
So
They say there was a walkway where not an actual walkway like a sidewalk, but like a walkway, an area of land that you could traverse to go from one side of one area of land to another, but then they eventually separate it. Now, but when you look at the globe, you can see how the pieces could easily fit back together
yeah, if you
again.
look at it, it's like a
Right.
puzzle.
Yeah,
But I believe all that kind of happened a lot after the flood. You know what I mean?
right.
Certain land broke off and became different continents or whatever, and
Yeah, you gotta remember it was volcanic
volcanoes,
activity during that time.
earthquakes.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
that's
think
how
every
they got
time
spread.
every
Yeah.
time it's a volcano or earthquake, the earth is changing anyway. It
Yeah.
might be at a pace that we can't see, but it is. Like they're saying, one day California is not going to be there.
Yeah,
They
it's
say
gonna
one
pop
day
off.
They say Florida not going to be there one day.
yeah.
So,
I say one day,
so your theory on aliens, I have to say, I got a question
the
here.
world was one, did not break up until generation
Yeah.
six.
Or
To
The
Genesis
sixth
generate
generation.
the sixth generation. Okay,
All
and
right,
that
thank you,
and,
Lord Paul.
and is that before
Now,
Noah?
now, he's saying that as Genesis chapter 6, or he's saying that as generation
Is that
of
Genesis 6, or as you say generation? Can you
I thought it
verify
meant
that?
generation
But I
six.
think he probably
Is that
saying
Genesis 6 or generation 6? I think it's Genesis 6.
Yeah, I think it
Not
probably
sure.
Yeah, I can't
But
see
yeah,
that.
the world was
Gener-
one.
I mean,
What gets me is that the world was one, and that the top of the world and the bottom of the world, the poles, they were all like warm at one point. So I've always wondered, in order for the sun to hit everything, was the Earth like turned on a different axis? You know what I
No,
mean? Because how would you get
Mark.
warm at the top and the bottom?
All right, but don't worry. The world wasn't never flat.
No, I know it wasn't flat.
that's what I thought he was going at. I was about to say,
Yeah.
no.
When the world hits your eye like a bigger pizza pie, it's flat. No. The world. I'm not one of the. I met a guy who said, and he was totally 100% serious. He believes that the world is flat. To this day, there are people that believe the world is flat.
Yeah, I heard somebody on YouTube saying that it was at one point, but that it makes no sense.
I know. They were saying, "Oh, it's
It's
a conspiracy to make the world round." I said, "For
that's
what reason? What is to be gained by doing that?"
once you look at the universe, you'll realize it can't be flat.
Exactly. Because everything within the universe is round. Everything from trees to planets. It's all got round or rounded edges.
The atmosphere, everything is pretty much round. And everything works in a round dimension. The
Right.
planet, the moon go around the earth go around the
Circular.
sun, everything. But that brings me to a point to think that, okay, the old saying must be true, right? What goes around come around.
Right.
Yeah.
So isn't that why Jesus said, I'm the first and the last? I'm on Alpha Omega.
Yeah. The Alpha and the Omega.
So
Yeah.
he been there first and he been there last, because last is first then, right? Because once you complete a circle, you back where you started.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
So
Back-
so
you
that's
come
telling
back
you
to that
God know.
point.
That's how God know everything, because where we going, he already there. And where we started, he was there.
So does
A
that
complete
mean
circle.
that you believe like a lot of the I'll say clairvoyants, we call them psychics, whatever, believe that all of time, everywhere is all happening simultaneously? That what's happening in the future is actually happening now?
Well, I got into a situation like that with a science teacher, because they claim that they found a Duracell battery over 2,000 years old.
No, it turned out that there was one that was, they found out how Egyptians did some of the stuff using batteries, but it wasn't like a Duracell battery.
No. They found a Duracell battery over 2,000 years old.
Oh, hold on.
And they claim they have it in some museum somewhere. They
Yeah,
also
probably British Museum with a lot
wait a
of other
minute, you
hold
stuff.
up.
said,
They also claim they found a Coca-Cola top that's over 3,000 years old, which is not possible
No.
unless what goes around come around.
Well, now that's almost like up there with time travel and such. But
So
listen,
do you
that
really
stuff, some of
believe?
that stuff got
Do you
proven to be
really
hoax.
do you
Like when they
really
found
believe?
a
Hold on.
watch
Okay,
that's 2,000 years old.
I heard about that, but do you really
It was
believe
a
that?
hoax.
Okay, do you really believe that there's aliens looking down on us through some kind of crystal ball, trying to, control what
Well,
we do?
I'll elaborate on what I actually believe when it comes to aliens. I told you where I believe the aliens came from and what they're there, but I also believe on something else a little bit deeper than that. Um, Aliens, they have a lot of technology. They can do a lot of stuff with machines, and they even have the ability to go ahead and, you know, send telepathy and read people's minds and that sort of thing, right? But when you take a look at the humans as a whole, the entire planet, from start to finish, all of us all together. When you let's see,
What I
they
say?
also say there's a lot of gold at the end of a rainbow.
that's why I was laughing. I'm sorry, yo.
Yeah, they do.
So next, Mark gonna say there's leprechauns running around.
Actually, no, I'm not saying anything
We
about
gotta
the
go.
leprechauns. No, no. Listen. So there's aliens and what they're up to. I told you before where I think they came from and why. But what I think they're up to is that they're up to something completely different than what people realize. And people don't realize that I feel that we have more ability or potential for ability than they do, and that they're aware of it. Because when you take a look at the human race as a whole and all the things that have been accomplished, it is possible and has been done and scientifically recorded, even though they haven't figured out the full scope of it, for humans to do something amazing, which is called telekinesis, which is the ability to affect something with use
Okay,
of your mind. But
I
let me
understand.
finish so you can
Okay, go
understand
ahead
what I
and
mean.
finish. Okay.
Now, in addition to that, there's also the ability to do things such as pyrokinesis, which is like start fires with your mind. And I recently heard about one where man can control wind or make wind using his mind. And I don't mean, breaking wind. I mean just, creating a wind and a force. Now,
Okay.
the reason I'm bringing it up like this is because when you stop and think, and I've heard a lot of UFO reports, a lot of different things and stories about UFOs and aliens. The only thing I've ever heard of them doing with their mind is the ability to talk to other people, to send telepathy. I've never heard of them being able to go ahead and move stuff. So imagine being an alien. You come from all the way over on the other side of the galaxy. You know, somewhere in the history of your race that God had created these other people that are closer to Him than they are to you, and you get to them and they can do stuff that you can't do, but they're so primitive they don't
Okay.
even realize it. So,
All right. Let me just stop you right there for a minute.
well, I'm just saying that's what I
Okay.
think the aliens.
Before
are.
I know. Okay. Before you get too far,
Mark is on the flow.
let me ask you. I'm gonna answer your question to all that you was just talking about. That's called demonology, witchcraft.
Huh? What?
You talking about demons, not aliens.
Whoa. When did I talk about demons?
Okay, reading your minds and starting fires with your mind and moving things
No, no,
with
no,
your
no, no.
mind.
See, that's where you don't understand what I'm talking about. God gave us abilities that
Okay,
we're not even aware of
before
yet,
you,
and that's one
I
of
know
them.
before you said that though, you was talking about the aliens and what they can do.
Right. Aliens
Now,
allegedly
God
can
gave us
use telepathy.
God gave us knowledge. I mean, right now, man only using like a small percentage of his brain.
Right.
It's a lot that our brain can do that we haven't even developed into.
Exactly.
But that's why the Bible tell you that towards the end, knowledge will increase. It did not say
Right.
knowledge will be given to us by aliens.
I didn't say alien. Where did you get that? I
I,
didn't say that.
I'm trying to let you know that I don't believe in aliens in a nice way. So
Oh, well, that's fine. A lot of people don't.
okay.
That don't mean nothing. That don't hurt my feelings
Right,
none.
right, right, right,
I
right,
ain't
right,
worried
right,
about
right.
that.
Right.
But
But
I'm saying
I'm just
you
saying that that these aliens, they
de-
see humans and they see
demons
us being able to do
demons
these things.
demons do the same thing.
No, well, listen to me though, because you understand what I'm talking about. I'm saying that humans have these abilities. That these abilities are given to us by God.
Yeah, I already know that point.
Okay, so these aliens, they
Okay,
only have
that
a
point.
little bit of the ability. You call them demons, I call them aliens. They could
Okay.
be one and the same. We don't know. We already went there with that, so we don't know. But nevertheless, they don't. They're wondering, hey, how can we get that? How can we? And that's when you start having the abductions and people who there are way many documentations of people who are getting pregnant and then losing their children. All of a sudden they're pregnant, and then months later they're suddenly not pregnant, and they actually have fetus in them, and they have
You on a
the
whole new
infrasound.
subject right now, bro.
Well, no, it's the same
So you're
subject.
saying aliens taking our babies now?
Yes, this is what's been said and proven a million times over. There are tons of people that this has happened to, and there are people who are reporting that they're breeding half alien, half human babies and people. And I think that the reason that they're trying to do
What
this
I
is to
say?
get that ability.
Man,
Man
Bill
built a
H.
tower to overthrow God.
They try to reach up to God.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
remember that.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the aliens are trying to do that so they can get a piece of what it takes so that they can complete what they have, so that they can have what we have, which is those kind of abilities.
Oh,
That, and I'm saying that that's part of it. Oh,
Huh?
how about Bigfoot? Oh no, he's gonna get me going. He's gonna get me going.
Don't get him started on
Oh,
Bigfoot.
oh boy.
He used to live next door to Bigfoot.
oh my God.
So, Mark, I understand your logic to the situation,
Right.
but aliens, it might not be aliens. I think it's a little mixture of demons and government. Government
Okay.
government might take our kids or do things and got a lab somewhere where they mixing this and this together and see what they get. Yeah, I believe the government doing
Yeah.
that.
That
The
I
government
believe
definitely
that
has
too.
secret labs out there, and the government will make you think, oh, aliens abducted these people, they gone. And then next thing you know, the people back, but they don't remember anything. The government,
Right.
the government have the knowledge and capability to do that. And the government, most likely the government is influenced by demons. Don't
Exactly.
don't let
I always thought they were run by them, but that's another
Okay.
story.
I mean, come on, now y'all remember back in the day we seen that angel.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, when we
Yeah.
practicing karate
Remember?
3, 4 o'clock in the
You
morning.
guys remember that? I don't remember that. You guys
See?
told me about it, and I told you I don't remember that guy.
I remember him. I remember the whole thing. I remember what he told me.
I just don't. I remember I remember only running into one guy, and his name was Sam, and I ran into him before by myself. I ran into him before and after that, I think, with you guys. So but I know who he was, and
I don't know who you're talking about.
he was
right
kind
now.
of a short, little muscular black dude, and he was a nice guy, but his name was Sam.
Did he have a briefcase?
Yeah,
I don't remember a briefcase. We just used to
Same.
talk. I used to talk about doing kung fu and martial arts, and that he used to do some.
That's
and,
okay. That's some other agenda you went to by yourself. I don't know.
No, well, like I said, that's what I'm saying. That's the only person that I remember us running into.
Okay, with that,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't think it's the same guy, but that's the only one guy.
So
that
you
comes to
remember the
mind.
guy with the briefcase, and he all got together. He talked to us. Then we all prayed, got in a circle and prayed. You remember that?
No.
No.
See? And then when we finished praying, he wasn't there. Then we seen him like going across the bridge, and he just vanished.
I might not have been with y'all that night
Yeah, you might have not been.
because we had those overnight practices a lot, but I wasn't always there.
Oh yeah, because you did have a curfew sometimes.
Yeah, I had curfew and school.
You still was in school, so.
Yeah, so I might not have been there when that happened.
But don't let this whole alien thing get you so worked up, young man, because
it doesn't get me worked up.
Because
Trying to explain it gets me worked up because it's so much to explain that people have stuff to say while you're in the middle of explaining it, and then they don't get what you're trying to say because they were trying to explain something while you're still in the middle of explaining it, and so they didn't get the full picture of what you're trying to say.
Right. Then if it was aliens, what planet did they come from?
Oh,
do all aliens come from Mars?
Well, I know this. I know this. And if anybody knows anything about alien stuff, they could go ahead and take a look at it. But aliens have come out, and the different races of different aliens have come out and allegedly told people where they've come from and what part of the galaxy. And so far, every time they've done that, it's always been a lie. It's like, we came from this galaxy part of and they can, and now that we have better technology to see that part of the galaxy, we can see, hey, there ain't nothing there.
How about the Orion?
Yeah. Oh, I came from the Orion, or I came from this Olion. Yeah.
Or they came from a black hole.
Yeah. Well, they come from somewhere. They always say that. But, then after we develop enough technology to see what kind of plants are in the area that could sustain life, we don't find any. I mean, that kind of says, hey, they're lying all this whole time. Why would they come all this way, do all this stuff, and then just keep telling us lies? And I think that it's because if you look at all the past history of all the encounters, like going back to biblical times, and you look at all that and realize, hey, they always considered humans to be subservient to them. Like we didn't really matter to them. So I hope aliens don't come and show up, because if they do, well, more than likely, they're not going to really care about us. They're not here for us. They're not here to help us do anything. I mean, not that as far as I could tell.
Right. See, I mean, why would they give us their technology if?
Just to distract us from what they're really after, which I think that they're making little deals with the governments of the world, because they're actually after, like I said, the ability to try and go ahead and have some of those things that God gave us that God didn't give them.
So in other
and that's
words,
pretty much it.
in other words, we in the way that they want to do away with us.
No, they don't. No, they actually have proven, and this is the really weird part. They actually have more reports of aliens doing things to stop nuclear experiments, nuclear rockets, and nuclear explosions.
So you
There
basically
have been
saying they trying to stop
documented
us from killing
UFOs.
ourselves.
Yeah, to stop us from destroying ourselves.
Mm.
And they've done that, but they don't really do anything to help us. And like I said, they want us just for the purpose of finding that ability that God gave us, that God didn't give to them, and they want to make sure we don't blow ourselves up before they figure out how we get it, how to do it. Because once they figure out how we do
So,
it, they're not going to care. They're going to move on. They're not concerned with us. We have no other.
so
thing for
once
them.
you're trying to say once they get what they want from us, they're just going to destroy us.
No, they're not even going to waste the energy to destroy us.
Oh, so they're just going to just go on and leave us alone.
Done.
And what are they going to do? Go to the next planet and do the same thing, or
But
They'll
Mark,
go
we
with
not gonna keep living on it.
whatever their agenda is that they got. But from what I can tell, from what I understand, the way I see it, my theory is they don't really have a need for us. I mean, look at when you examine some of those stories that they have in other cultures about gods and so forth coming from other places or whatever. All the gods did was have them serve them. That's all that they did. Oh yeah, it could be this, could be that's all that they did. Even when you look at back then, that's all they did. They didn't do anything like, well, hey, let me help you do this. Oh no, if you behave, I'll help your crops grow, and if you don't, well then, I'll have to kill you. I mean, that's pretty much the cut and dry of what any godlike being did back in like Inca times. Go all the way back. All the deities that they're out there, a lot of them, that's all they ever did. And so now we run into aliens or something that's greater than us. If we did, I wouldn't expect anything from them because they've never done anything for anybody except themselves when they were here before. Does that make any sense? Whether they're aliens or demons, they haven't done anything for anybody.
And in the demon sense, yeah, that makes sense because demons are here and they only looking out for themselves.
Yeah.
And because they was cast out, they know God. They was in heaven, and once they was cast out, knowing that they don't got no return ticket, their next thing is to destroy something that God care about.
Now,
They already know they're doomed. See,
Yeah,
they already
they know.
You said
they
the
got
demons.
this sentence. They got this sentence. They already did. They already know. They already know they're doomed.
They know what's coming.
So
They know what's coming.
trying to influence us or derail us to be going downhill too.
So you're saying demons were already up in heaven. So basically, what you're saying is that's where stupid started from.
Yeah, stupid started from Satan.
Because if you're in heaven and you try to, no, I'm gonna start my own thing. That's when stupid started, and then all the other stupid say, "Hey, let's follow him."
But you know what? That's
exactly.
Oh, hold on, guys.
That's exactly how it happened.
Check this out.
There we go.
They had the same thing that we had: free will.
Yep.
Yep.
So
They
we
got
don't
free
want to
will.
feel like doing something. Hey, you feel like fall behind a jerk? Well, that's on us.
And Satan was a jerk. He was up there. He was God's greatest creation. And what did he started getting? Pride. Once he got that pride telling him, well, I can be God. I can do what God doing. He wanted to take God position.
Mm-hmm.
So all this didn't happen like in one conversation. He went around heaven talking to different angels, getting them to be on his side. Okay. All of this happened before he got cast out. Got to remember that. Some people look at it like, oh, God. Satan went up to God and said the wrong thing, and Michael came and kicked him out. That didn't happen like all in one setting. That happened in heaven on a different time zone than us. That happened among different times.
Right.
It took him a while to deceive 1/3 of angels in heaven.
Yeah.
He didn't do that like overnight. And
Oh no.
what he wanted to do was take over. And then when he seen that God was putting his time and effort into people on the earth and showing that he loved the people on the earth that he created, the devil didn't like that because he wasn't in the main attraction no more. You ever had
Right.
a spoiled child, and then
Oh,
when
I
you
get
stop
it, Corey.
showing that spoiled child attention, they're gonna act out. That's what he
Right.
did. He acted
Yeah.
out and got kicked out.
But now his goal is to go ahead and
His first goal is to get loose from hell, which the Bible said that's gonna happen. But what he's doing now is controlling all those. You gotta admit how many is 1/3 of the angels in heaven?
don't know.
It's
You
more
don't know
angels
that.
and it's more angels in heaven than it is people that ever been born on earth. So think
Okay.
about that. So that makes a
Yeah.
lot of demons.
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't
These
deny that part. I know that part.
these demons get orders to roam the earth and try to control people. They try to um, deceive people. They try to possess people. They're doing everything they have to do, and more. They're doing it more and more nowadays. Whether they appear to be aliens, whether they appear to be ghosts, whatever they got to do, they're doing what they got to do to take down what God created.
Right. Well, it's not so
And
much just to take down. It's
they
just they want
believe.
to they want to have something that they can throw at God and say, "Ha! I took this many people away
Well,
from
yeah,
you."
the devil done that before. The devil even got permission from God to go down and try to deceive one of his servants.
That I've never heard of before.
Yes, sir. It was who was that? I bet Mark Paul no, but who was that? Um, it was one of the servants that had everything, and the devil was basically telling God, "Let me go and take everything away from him, and see if he denounce you." You know who that was, Bruce?
Can you hear us, Bruce?
Or you?
I
Or you?
think he lost us again.
Yeah, what's going on over there? Man? The internet bothering you? You can't hear? Oh,
No, he can't hear at all.
you can't hear?
Oh, Bruce put down time is up.
Oh, time's up. All right, word of action, job. All right,
Job,
Job,
the book of
Job.
Job.
All right, thank you, Job. So we're gonna have a part 2 of this discussion next Monday. Make sure it's 9 o'clock, guys.
Yeah. Okay. As long as I get a link, I can be there. I don't get a link, I ain't gonna be there.
So, Mr. John Paul, if you want to join us, we send you a link, and we can see who you really are. Or I know it's on you, Mark, Paul, like the disciples. That's cool.
All right.
So, word of action out.
All right. We'll see you later, everybody. Have a good one. Bruce, I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me okay, Bruce?
Nope, he out.
Hey, Bruce. We're leaving. Yo, Bruce.